Welcome to Bite-Sized Data Science. In the previous video, we talked about how to access the Socrata catalog. This time, we will focus more on accessing a specific dataset. As in many other videos, the environment I use is IBM Watson Studio with a Jupyter Notebook. In the last video, I used Python with the Pandas data frame. This time, I will use Python, but with Spark data frames. Let's jump into the notebook. There is an available library called Socrata Open Data API, or SODA, used to access datasets in specific domains. After we install the SODA library, we include a few libraries so we can access the Socrata catalog. The catalog returns complex records. I include here the structure definition that we use as a schema to apply to the input data. Last time I read the entire catalog. This time I'm going for specific records, the ones from the City of Chicago domain that are specific to the transportation category. The code here assumes that it could return thousands of records. The precaution is not needed since, in this case, we get only 40 records back. The Socrata catalog record includes a lot of information. Here I summarize the records by including only the record ID, the last time it was updated, and the name. The updated at field is interesting. We can see that some datasets are not kept up to date anymore. For example, the average daily traffic counts dataset was last updated in April 2013. By the way, don't only rely on the updated at field to find out if a dataset is obsolete. Look at the Chicago street names dataset. It was last updated at the end of May 2012. This does not mean it is out of date. There is a lot more information available in a catalog record. Refer back to the previous video on the Socrata catalog for more details. The SODA API documentation is available on GitHub at https://github.com/xmunoz/SODA-APY. Also, you can find information on how to download this notebook in the description below. After we create a connection to the City of Chicago domain, we can access datasets using their IDs. Note the warning about strict throttling limits. Once you've decided to use a dataset, it may be prudent to download it if you are planning to use it regularly. Using the metadata, we can find out how many records are available. We can also find the column names and types. I would not only rely on that to find out the column names and types. I ran into a few datasets that did not match their description. When it comes to reading a dataset, we have to decide if we should read the entire dataset or only parts of it. I would recommend you read a few records and take a look to make sure the attributes are as expected, and this is what you want. The next step is to decide if you want all the records or a subset. For example, the Chicago Crimes dataset has data all the way back to 2001. That's over 6.5 million records that require over 1.6 gigabyte of disk space. Maybe the last 10 years are all you need. Here's another example. The taxi trips dataset includes over 100 million records. As mentioned earlier, our first step is to read only a few records. The SODA API includes the Socrata query language, or SoQL, that borrows heavily from SQL. In the notebook, you can see a few examples of queries. In the first one commented here, I use a large offset to go read the last 1,000 records of the dataset. This never worked, it always timed out. In the second example, also commented out, I used the where clause to pick the records after July 2017. This worked great, so I ended up using the third example that adds the order clause since I wanted to get the last 1,000 records or so from the end of the dataset. That shows how powerful a query can be. Look at the documentation and experiment for yourself to find out more. One more thing, in this notebook, I read the records in a data frame assuming all the attributes are strings. Obviously, this is not really the case. We have integer attributes, such as the trip seconds. We have float or double fields, such as longitude and latitude, and we have timestamp attributes such as the trip start timestamp. We can easily create a new data frame and cast the values to their proper type. Using the proper types help in the data exploration, so I strongly recommend it. You're now well equipped to search and use over 40,000 datasets using the Socrata catalog and the SOTA API. And with this notebook available as example code, you should be well on your way to using these datasets. See you next time on Bite-Sized Data Science.